This is DAP The Contract. I'm Alte Daily. Man, it's a long story. So DAP was like Dolakwa Kikube Productions, like, because I only ever wanted to produce. I don't think people really realize that. Like, I specifically didn't want to rap because I enjoyed that like, I don't want to say number two position, but I enjoyed that just like behind the scenes, but has his hand in the music. That's what I really cared about, you know. But over time, all my boys just decided that it was cool to retire. Thanks to Jay-Z, everyone wants to retire after rapping for 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, this is my last tune. I'm like, bro, we have like one song on SoundCloud. What do you mean you're retiring? So eventually, I just realized that, if I'm not gonna have people to rap on my stuff, and my stuff at that time was still kind of out of the box a little bit. Like that was like Odd Future time, like 08, 09. So my sound was a little confusing for people. I'm coming from a classical piano background too, so I just figured, you know what, I know how to rap on these beats, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to do this thing. And so then and then I had a duo with me and Shane Chubby. Shout out to Shane Chubby. We started The Contract like soon after everyone stopped except like me and him, pretty much. And then he stopped, and I'm like, all right, you know what, I got the DAP, and now we had The Contract, so I just kind of put them together. And that's what it was. Yeah, man, that's what it is. I like having the two. I like DAP The Contract being formal, but then people that know DAP, I like that. I like that it's a thing that only a couple people are aware of. I'm a nerd for real. I don't know what it was, the first beat I made, but I felt like I wanted to keep track of something. I didn't know what it was going to be, but I just felt like I wanted to remember this and have them all connected somehow. So I called the first beat I made first, the date I made it, where I made it, and what I made it with. So each beat would be like 110th, 15th of January 2007, Reason or Logic, and I name all my keyboards because they're like my achievements. So it'll be like the name of the keyboard every beat. And I think I just wanted to be able to say, okay, I got to 500, like where am I now? Not even to boast, just to be like, what have I, all them 500 beats, like have I improved, like where am I really going, like what? And I can always like track like when things shifted. Like for example, being in Europe for the last 6 months, I wanted to tap back into that housey, like European like EDM house, but also South African house and like those UK garage kind of sounds. And I can tell there'll be like 20 beats that have that kind of flavor, then some Afrobeat will come in there a little bit, and then I'll see it switch back, and I can remember the things that made it change. It's just interesting to look back, even though I never do, but I feel like one day I'll go back and be like, and also have maybe like 60 songs out, so there's all these beats that are just sitting there, or people had and they never really finished or whatever it was. So I just wanted to be able to keep track of it. It's like a type A thing. Yeah, a bit too organized sometimes. I need to loosen up a bit. I think the main thing was like code switching helped a lot. And that came from like being here for primary school till I was 10, and then going to middle high school in London. And then when I got to America, that was never part of the plan. That was kind of random how that happened. Because I was applying to UK unis, all of that, and then that didn't work out. So as soon as I landed in America, I went to Brown University also, which is like known as the hippie Ivy League school, right? So I started noticing that introducing myself became like a thing. I was forced to talk because I would be like, what's your name? Dolakbo. And then they asked me more questions and the English accent comes out. So as soon as that happened, it's always like, wait, so where are you from? And I'm like, I'm Nigerian, I went to school in London. I always have to explain myself. So that really forced me to like open my mouth and like speak to people. And I think that like the first semester I came home, I remember my godmother was like, I don't know what changed, but you suddenly like, you sit up, you like look people in the eye. I never used to look anyone in the eye. Like I'm talking to you, I'm looking somewhere here. But like, like I was never looking people dead in the eye. So I don't know what it was about that, but I think I just was kind of forced to like wake up. And that was the same time I put out my first tape. So I think those two things together, like I couldn't really hide. People would find out that, oh, this is the music kid that like, oh, he raps and whatever. So it was like it became a thing of how I'd introduce myself as well. Like, I think that's what it really was. I was just kind of forced to stop being a baby, really. I'm the youngest too of my family, so I was always kind of like, yeah. I was kind of tucked away a little bit sometimes. When I caught the bug for rapping, I really caught it heavy. So now, like, and even like now, I'm really into videography. I think as I learn a new skill, I kind of fall in love with it. Maybe not more so than producing, but almost to the same level. So I don't want to be the orchestrator anymore. Like I want to be orchestrating, but I want to be the guy at the same time. You know, like I don't think I could give that up now. I don't think I could go backwards. Yeah, and it's nice to get things off my chest because I wasn't saying a lot back then. I was very quiet, like high school times. Like I was very shy, very quiet. But now that I've let it out, like there's too much in there. You know, I was at Berkeley for a year, like Berkeley College of Music in Boston for like 1 year, my gap year, and I barely started rapping at that point. But my favorite class was Intro to Film Scoring. I never forgot that. And my sister has a film scoring degree too. She was there at the same time, and that was random to me that's what she went for because she's very like singer-songwriter. I thought she was more about the sounds than the visuals, but seeing movies without the music made me realize like the music is really what's actually driving the narrative for real. It felt like so. I like fell in love with film scoring. And if it wasn't film scoring, I'll still find a way to be doing music. Yeah, and this was Mark Ronson in the middle of Uptown Funk too. Like I remember leaving JFK. Like I heard Uptown Funk like 3 times in the airport, and I'm just like, this is not really happening right now. Like literally, like go to Hudson Newsstand, Uptown Funk, and I'm just like, yo, this is mad. But it was same thing as like outros, like another timestamp where I'm like, okay, I got here. It's just more reassurance. But the thing about that was I first of all took the LSAT like the week after. So I was like in the middle of law school apps and like on phone with my dad like, yo, I got this opportunity. First thing he said was no, like off rip. I was like, I've got this opportunity to go to Abbey Road. Mark Ronson's gonna be my mentor. He was like, nah, like off rip. And I had to convince him. He was like, okay, the deal is if you're gonna do that, you gotta do both at 100%. Not gonna do both at 75 and let them dwindle each other. But more importantly, like I learned a lot about myself because I realized that I'm a fourth quarter guy. Like I can handle the pressure when it really counts because I wasn't fazed by the whole documentary they shot with it and the cameras and everything. I was like, if I'm not going to Abbey Road to make a cute video. I don't care about the documentary. Like if I don't come out with a tune, I failed myself. That was my only thoughts going in. It's like I have to come out with music. That's why I'm going there. I didn't go to the Abbey Road isn't a video studio, you get me? So, and he like matched that energy from the jump. Like when I first got there, we went to his studio first. He was working on Adele's album 25, I think. Like one of the songs on the album, we walked into him playing the bass, me and my sister. And we were like, yo, this is like, we heard her voice from outside the door of the studio and paused before we entered. Like there's no way Adele's in there. She wasn't, thankfully. I don't know what my reaction would have been. But, and then I just played him like 435th, 500, so all these beats. He's just like, just play me stuff. I just want to see how you think, like what kind of sounds you like playing with. And the best piece of advice he gave me was like, don't try and give them hip hop DAP and then Afrobeat DAP and then house DAP and then classical DAP. Like try and blend all of those colors to make a new color. It's not just an assortment of different things, you know. That always stuck. But like the best thing he said though was, we're musicians. He literally like sat me down. He was like, yo, we're musicians. We're here to make music. Like I don't know how used to cameras and lights and all of that you are, but we're musicians. We're here to make music. So just let's tap in with each other and get this done, kind of thing. And from there, I already knew like it would work, you know. And I still have those songs that I made with him. But again, what I feared would happen, he gave me his personal number too. He was like, yo, hit me. And I'm like, you're gonna reply, Mr. Uptown Funk. Like, cool. But I hit him afterwards, said thank you, everything. But after that, it was quiet because I can only imagine, you know, what he's up to. And this wasn't directly his thing. Like he was brought into the noisy Converse system. It wasn't like he was setting it up. So I didn't want to force it. I felt like it would come back around if it was meant to when it's meant to, you know. But I still have those songs. But yeah, I still feel like I got the song, but I didn't finish. I didn't get what I wanted. I wanted to get the song out, like completed with him, with his approval, you know, because I have the song kind of done, but I don't want to just throw that out there, you know. That's one of my favorite songs ever made. Raw, Cass and Benzo, man. That at that time, that was like the biggest thing for me, because I was trying to tap into, because I love CEDRB like everything, so I was always trying to like tap into that, and I felt like I was slightly behind and trying to like catch up, but also be like, yo, I'm here, like my beats are nice, but I was still in that weird phase where I was quiet, and also I'm like, there's a lot of Odd Future and stuff, like everything was kind of all over the place with the classical influences too. But that was the first like legit thing I felt like, okay, that's like a new timestamp, and I can start to grow from there again. But what year was that? That's probably like 2010. I feel like that was the seed, for real. People don't say it enough, but I think people know. But like, people always talk about Concrete Rose and like I remember the first time I really thought like this could be a thing was at one of those shows. I don't know which one, but that's when we all kind of started. I don't even know if I was producing when I went to one of those first shows. It was when we got back to school, and then Young Money became a thing, and then it was like, okay, now we're gonna make a little rap crew, and then we got the girl who's got to be the Nicki, we gotta have the R&B guy in there, you know, like we had to hold the whole system. But I feel like that was the seed, for real. Like that's the first time that I thought, this could be an interesting music thing, because I was still like super shy, only wanted to do classical piano stuff, maybe produce, but that was really what kicked it off, I think, for the whole scene, really. That made it like seem like a thing that was doable. Because at that age too, like that was early. Yeah, I was 13. Yeah, that was early. I just did this verse on the Disney soundtrack, the Disney Noelle movie. I don't know if I'm jumping the gun, but this is what I'm saying. This is why I'm saying like loyalty, like that matters so much to me, because they really did not need me for that verse at all. Like they scored the whole movie, first of all. I think Clyde's dad, he's a director, I think he directed the movie, was a screenwriter, was involved some way in the direction of it. And they scored the whole movie with like full orchestra, like full horn section, strings, big timpanis, the whole, everything. So I knew they were working on this for like years. Like they just going and going. I always checking like, how's that going along? They would be very kind of coy about it. But they knew they had this song that they could do whatever they wanted with, that wasn't really going to be in the movie directly. So it was just a soundtrack kind of thing that Disney were like, do what you want with that song. And again, they were like, how do we do something different with this? Let's bring it to hip hop space a little bit more. And so they just called me to do the verse again, of course, middle of exams in Amsterdam. Had to turn it around in 24 hours. But like I said, that fourth quarter mentality, I knew, as I've done it enough times now, I was like, I can get this done, I can get it to them. He was like, we need you to be available tomorrow to do edits and stuff. I'm like, I've got 2 classes tomorrow, got an exam on Friday, but I knew I would get it done. And so those guys hold me down, because they really didn't need, they could have easily sung an easy verse. Like, it's a Disney movie too, it's not hard to write for them, especially to write a quick, cute something, you know, use all the Christmas references, whatever. I really commend Shane Chubby, because I don't even know if I liked the song at first, because he kind of like told me what he felt like the sequence needed. I think we're making a whole project, and he kind of told me the energy he wanted in this space right here. And I was like, that's perfect. It's easier for me if you give me a piece, because I know how to go and finish it. So I was like, boom, I got you, I know what I'm gonna do. And it just happened in like 10 minutes, like the whole beat and the hook was like 10-15 minutes. I don't think I've ever made anything that quick since, honestly. That was 2013. So, and I was like, I don't know. I remember sending it to him and being like, this is kind of like a cool idea. I don't know how I feel about the holiday. Hey, like it felt like a little too loose. You get me? Because I'm thinking the other way. But he instantly heard it and was like, send me that shit right now. Like that's it's gonna work, trust me. So it definitely felt like that when it dropped. And like performing it at the first Native Land Festival, and it being like people really singing it back to me, I was like, wow, that was the first moment I actually had that, like people singing my song back to me. That was crazy. Yeah, that puts a big battery in your back when that happens. Yeah, man. I had to like consciously force myself to learn how to like freestyle, you and not even just on rap, like everywhere, because being a classical pianist, that's where that really comes from. It's like so meticulous. Like I was really there practicing scales, having to play them perfectly for exams, and like it's so hard to undo that. But the beauty of it is, once you spend enough time realizing that you gotta loosen up a bit, you then have all the rules to break. That's what, and I knew that from the beginning. I just didn't always believe it. My mom would tell me that from early, like the point of learning the rules is so you know what you're doing when you start trying to do whatever. And then that year at Berkeley's a jazz school, so I started learning to improvise and stuff, and that was way out of my comfort zone. So I think over time I've appreciated like freestyling and like people who don't write, people who just go into the booth and just, you know, go off whatever they're feeling in the moment. Because I've never really been able to do that, and I'm still trying to force myself into that way of thinking without losing the training that I have, because that's got me this far, you know. But yeah, I kind of try and use both when it makes sense. Like when it's time to really get down to the nitty gritty, and each snare, each volume, each reverb, everything has to be on point. I also noticed that like Holiday, which was one of the another timestamp that took me forward, that fell out of me in like 10 minutes. That was one of the first times that's happened too, where a whole complete idea just sort of fell out, because everything else is like from 9 p.m. till 6 a.m. I'm still working on that same bass line, like, you know. So yeah, I think just with time you notice that you can create that quickly, and sometimes the best songs are the most simple. So shout out to Danny Sober, this kid I went to Brown with. It's another reason why I believe parents, when they say like stay in school, it's not just a joke. Like everyone I collaborate with still came from Brown, and like connections extending from that. But it was literally just a guy who was probably doing the same thing I was doing, a major that wasn't art or music, and then was doing that kind of on the side, from Chicago. And I didn't even really give him too much information. He was just like, okay, what's the whole thing about? And I'm like, honestly, it's about everything. Like, my music's about my life directly, so it's just everything you go through, good, bad, everything in between. But I picked out certain themes on certain songs, like there's a love theme throughout the whole thing. There's lost love, hey love, so the heart's gonna be in there. And then I really broke down to him my background and how much, like, for example, everyone has mad loans. I don't have any loans. Why don't you have any loans? That doesn't make any sense. But like, you don't understand this culture in Lagos we come from, you know? So like the money thing I explained. Then there's the weights in there, like the scales, not only the legal scales, but also just being a Gemini and the twin aspect of my life. Everything comes in twos, like Abbey Road, LSAT right behind it, you know? Excuse me. So I just really pulled out important themes, and that's all I gave him. And I don't even know, honestly, if I really knew the Roots album like that, because that's what the inspiration came from. But he kind of, in a way, I think I knew it from childhood and like hearing it. I knew of it, yeah, but then he really like made me go and pinpoint, okay, that's what that is, and that's what that means. And I looked up the meaning of that like face that they drew and everything. But the music was really like started from one of them like cute heartbreaks. It wasn't cute though, it was deep, but looking back I'm like, how deep really was it, you know? But thank God I felt it that deeply, because I made that whole project from that one sentiment, and everything kind of grew out of there. And then it's like growing up and like having issues with friends and like falling out, like realizing who's really got your back kind of thing. It came from all of that, and just also the lowest point, like starting to not really care about school like that. I'm like, you know what, like I'm nice, and I can make sure they know I'm nice. I know how to do this. So it was like, take this kind of thing. It was like a real like weight off my shoulders kind of thing. My guy, man, again, Brown, like I don't even know how we met, probably through Lawrence, like another group of kids that I met at Brown. But he was on like he put me onto like the Snarky Puppies, like the kind of hip, I call it hip hop, because it's like pop music almost, but it has all them like soul flavors, and the drums are usually like kind of boom bappy. But he kind of just understood what I was doing. I guess Chance was out that time as well, when I was making Goodbye Forever and that kind of stuff. So we met around then, and and like Kendrick had section 80, and all the sax and the jazz on section 80. It's really like Terrace Martin and Kendrick is probably where I felt like I wanted that energy on my tapes, and he just came at the perfect time, understood what I was doing. It was easy to work together. I would send him stuff, or he would come to my dorm room. I'd be like, just give me 5 takes of just soloing, and then I'll go back and chop it up, and he was happy to let me chop it up, which is an important thing, you know, because I don't even know now if I would want to go chop everything up like that. I want him to make it be what he wants it to be, you know. But he just trusted me. He's a great sax player, also classically trained, I want to say, I think. But yeah, same thing. We'll just be a brown together, doing the odd underground shows here and there, 50 people, 30 people, and we just like grew a proper bond. Like I call him, I'm loyal like that. Like I still need a sax, like I'm gonna Sumner. Hilo Jack. Yeah. Brown again. Yeah, so Clyde he leads Lawrence. Like him and his sister have a band called Lawrence. Her name's Gracie, and she's amazing. Both of them are amazing, like songwriting. And I don't know if he can actually read music. So working with him was like forced me again to undo all that like rigid, everything has to be like this, you have to dot your I's, cross your T's, everything. Like he would just be like flow, improvise, play any song, any top 40, anything you can play off rip, right key, sing it, everything, you know. So him, and then Cody has a group called Stolen Jars, which is more like indie, which I understood from coming from London, that like Bombay Bicycle Club, Two Door Cinema Club, that vibe. So I kind of like, and I like showing that like, yo, I get this too, but let me show you this hip hop stuff over here. Yeah, let Clyde bring the pop and the soul, and you know, like it just all kind of meshed together nicely. And we were doing like, I think we did a cover of, I think it was a chant song actually. We did a cover of like Cocoa Butter Kisses or something, me and Lawrence, like my junior year. And then senior year, they were like, yo, let's work on this song for graduation, like a graduation song. Like they were all feeling a type of way because they didn't know if they were about to go full on music or if they were gonna start, well, what's gonna happen after they graduate. So it's like, let's make this song. And then the song came out so good. How So It Goes, I think the single off that project we put out. And then we just sort of kind of, again, just fell into it naturally. Like they were just like, yo, we should make this project, like we can handle most of the production because you're still going crazy with all your stuff, but we just like want there to definitely be rap on there. So it ended up being more indie soul production and more like, I'll just put the odd verse here and there and do what it needed to do. But I want to do part 2 of that, but I want to handle the production, more of the production, yeah. Like, cause it'll just give it a different flavor, and then have them singing and, you know, bring them to my world a little bit more, you get me? Yeah, cause it will just build into like a different, like the group is changing, but it's the same, you know, same elements, just different, pushing one to the forefront. Yeah, I think I was in my little R&B bag. Again, guitars. I was saying how I wanted to learn the guitar because I felt like I could mimic a lot of instruments on a keyboard, on a MIDI keyboard, like horns, strings, piano, obviously, keys, anything but bass. But strumming just doesn't come across when you try and do it that way. So that was like me trying to, I've been like making a lot of easier guitar riff, like songs built on guitar riffs. So that when I do learn, I can play them at shows. Like, and that's what I'm trying to do this spring when I get back to New York. So that's where it really started, and I don't even know what was happening that day, but that was a quick song though. It kind of came out in one energy. I think that year was, so again, being a Gemini, everything kind of is in 2. So I have like a little, in my head I have like a little mixtape series, then I have the albums. So like Contract Thursday, CT 1, 2, and 3, those are like the, let me experiment a little bit, loosen up, try new things. Then the album time, like Goodbye For Never, Everybody Falls in the Summer, and the one I'm working on now, that's like, now I'm getting a little too tight and everything up, but I want it to be the visuals, like there's references within the songs and stuff. But the way it started was just like summer in New York, getting tired of social media, news, Trump's doing his thing every day. I was working at a law firm, doing an internship that summer, and like every evening, me and my girl would just cycle to Central Park and just sit by, like Vibrate, the like visual for Vibrate, I'm seeing by this lake. We would just cycle there and just sit and just chill for like 30 minutes, whatever, 45 minutes, and then cycle back. And that was like my time to clear my head from everything, working all day, song I have to now make, the video I have to edit, like all this stuff I have to do. That was my time to just like chill out. So that's where the like summer aspect came out, just feeling like our generation needs to get outside and stuff. Like, I mean we're not even horrible. The generation behind us like are in trouble. That was that part of it. And then also just going, like, summer is supposed to be like, we just came from hot girl summer. Like, summer is supposed to be like everything is lit, everyone's happy. That's kind of how we paint it. But everyone goes through things at all different times of the year. So I was like really going through some up and downs that summer, really seeing what the future might be like being a full-time lawyer, but also trying to balance, seeing what the balance would be like, trying to do all of this on the side. And so that was like everybody falls in the summer, like the seasons aren't, summer is happy and winter is sad, and it's cuffing season and this and everything is all uniform. Like, it all happens throughout the year. Valentine's Day is lit or it's trash. It's not, and it's everything in between. It's not just love everywhere, you know? So it was, again, just everything in one, like trying to not stay in one place. Because moving around my whole life, like, I enjoyed code switching so much that I like trying to pack as many genres, many melodies, styles of rapping, like hooks, beat, production, everything. I want to do as much as I can in one place. So that was the best way to like capture that particular energy. That's what it was. It's like trying to explain how you can be, things can be so great and so bad at the same time, but also be so bad and still so great. It's peaks and valleys. That's what it really came down to, trying to capture all of that in one project. And the visual was the most important thing to me for that project, was like trying to up the quality of the visuals, because I just started making my own videos like the year before, but I never tried to make like a visual album. And that's what I always wanted to do since I saw Runaway. But yeah, like I'm like, I need a full, longer than 5, 7, 8 minutes. It needs to be like a 25-minute movie, a short film, because I wasn't naturally the swaggiest kid. Like, I was the shy one. I was like, it never felt fully in with, you know, whatever I felt like I should be in with, when it's really just like, who am I and how do I express that in the dopest way, you know? That's where I kind of landed the last year or two. At some point I look back and I appreciate that that's what separates me. That's why I'm this quirky, nerdy guy in his own little corner of the scene, you know? So just embracing that and like making that cool. That's really what it's about. You're not cool because everyone thinks you're cool. You're cool because you're who you are. That's what I feel anyway. So it's just like embracing that and like bringing that out more. And the pictures too, like I started getting obsessed with photography, videography, everything, just trying to express myself visually, because it feels like you get 2 opportunities to express whatever you wanted to express, and it can be 2 different things you say with the song and the video. So I felt like I was kind of not appreciating that opportunity to say something with my look and with my frame, like being a tall, lanky, skinny guy, you know, like, and that being an insecurity thing before, and now it's just is what it is, like take it or leave it kind of thing. I think it's just, yeah, growing up, just maturing, getting over, yeah, man, stop trying so hard, just relax, like it's not that deep. So my mom came to that show, yeah, and the whole show she's trying to like wince through all the curses and like this is, it's a lot. But that song came on, and the beginning, the choirs, the organ.
Out of water, never let me drown. Play me on the radio, I'm all over the town. And I save it all, 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 and let it drop. I lost my mind around the time I cracked the code. Punching on the cloud, I let it rain, I let it snow, and still I show. Kicking through the floor, what's down below?
Like when we're packing up for the show, she like made me run that song back like 3 times. I was in the back by herself, just jamming, and that made nothing else matter. That's my Grammy kind of thing, you know? So cheat code for sure. Open Letter 2, which is the last song I made before I started law school.
Swear I miss my dog right beside me on the track. I swear I'm finna leak and me still sending me them raps. Bro, they think I'm about to stall. I got fire in the tank. They think I'm finna stop. I think they smoking crack. We from a different cloth. Everybody sounding whack.
That was like, I did Contract Thursdays Part 1 and then Part 2. And that was like a big timestamp, because I felt like I was gonna have to take a little break, because I'd heard so much about the first year of law school, the worst year of your life. Like, if you get through that, you can get through anything. So like, they make it so daunting that you're like, what am I really getting into? And I kind of had to force myself to accept that music might have to actually pause for a second. It'll never pause fully, but I might need to just chill for a second. And that was the last time I had to say whatever was left to say at that time. So that was my big timestamp to like round everything up. This is how I feel. This is how I feel my places in this scene, whatever that is. This is where I feel like my quality has got to. This is what I care about right now. This is what's going on in the world right now. It's kind of like everything in one. And I like appreciate those songs. There's like a couple of those in my catalog that I know are like, this is a timestamp here intentionally. So Cheat Code, Open Letter 2, and It's Alright. I'm gonna go with this. So it could be so I can't even choose between all my tune because it could be Everything Ends, the outro on Goodbye Forever. That might be my favorite hook. I'll say that's an honorary 4th place, but It's Alright because that was the first song I made for Goodbye Forever.
Yeah, sing, reintroducing, mistaken futures, nuisance, improving who's it? Disapproving fools and improving views that is due to get any wrong with. So brother number 3 now, and I ain't riding.
Coming from such a negative place, like that's the power of music. Like I made that song for myself, like telling myself like, bro, like you got your heart broke, but it's not that deep. Like it's gonna be calm. Like, and that kicked off that whole year of everything. Then I made Blue after the Goodbye Forever dropped, and then the Abbey Road thing came around. And the manager, the guy who was managing me at the time, that all kicked off from It's Alright. And me like that was like a clean slate for me. Like that was the single that people started noticing, like, oh, this kid actually is like, he makes decent music, he's cool. Then King came, and then the rest of them one by one. So yeah, that was an important song in the catalog. Ready? Diarrhea. Come, that's no. Nah, you're wrong. Nah, check it. Diarrhea. No, there's no H. It's Diarrhea. Nah, check it. Come on, fam. Quinoa fruit, abi. Jeez. Kin. Quinoa. Is a fruit. It's a vegetable. Oh nah, I'm not taking that L. I'ma hold that one. Jeez. OESOPHAGUS. FaceTime. Wow, my Mumsy has to be. Ooh, Roddy Rich. That album is cold. Honestly, it's the sound of music, bro. I'm a nerd. Only hits, bro. It's only hits. I love that movie. There's definitely scenery involved. In my head, I want to drive to like one of them mountain lookout joints. Yeah, you understand? Everybody falls in this. Trust me. Yeah, that's the scenery. Even if there's some wine going, there's probably some grapes involved. Grapes and strawberry fruit, just vibing. I might have to go Bob Marley. I was gonna say Fela Kuti, but Fela Kuti. Because the reason I was gonna say Fela is because it might be a bit mad. Nothing can faze me. Nothing can save me. Nothing can stop me. Nothing can change me. I do this on the daily. Still going crazy.
The Alternative Network.